Our outreach program began several years ago to inspire and empower young individuals who are curious about the world of engineering.
Our whole goal really is to benefit the community within STEM education, so we're trying to work with a lot of community partners. Our Engineering Outreach programs are for youth from kindergarten all the way to grade 12, but specifically we have programs for Black youth, girls, Indigenous youth, and youth that are from underrepresented groups or low socioeconomic status.
So the outreach program delivers fun, accessible STEM programming to kids from kindergarten to grade 12. I think everybody can benefit from participating in our programs. We have programs for elementary students, and that introduces them to STEM programs. We have programs for our high school students that can deepen their learning and knowledge of STEM, and teacher programs as well that help with teacher PD and how to teach STEM in the classroom. So our C-Wonder Mobile Design Lab goes into classrooms across the Durham region and Toronto and all over. And we come into the classroom to present fun, hands-on content in the class with the teacher to talk about the engineering design process, electric circuits, programming, and anything related to the curriculum. So we're really trying to bring our programs out into the community.
Our exciting programs and collaborative learning opportunities were designed to kindle curiosity, foster deep understanding of engineering principles, encourage creative problem solving for positive impact, and most importantly, inspire the upcoming generation of inventors.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is our first webinar series of numerous coming up this year, and we are so excited to have you with us today. I'm actually first going to begin with just discussing what the webinar series is going to look like. So it's called Spotlight, and what we're actually going to be doing is we're going to be doing 30-minute webinars each month on different topics, and these topics will connect to different audiences, which will make it very interesting for our team. And who will run these? The coordinators at Engineering Outreach will be running these. So we're super excited to have you here with our first one. And there's going to be a lot more to come. So my name is Ellen Istvan. I'm the Engineering Outreach Manager at Ontario Tech University. And again, we're going to have you here with us for 30 minutes today. And what we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about programs, people, and possibilities. But before I get into those topics, I want to quickly do a little land acknowledgement. Ontario Tech University acknowledges the lands and peoples of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island, First Nations. We are grateful to be welcomed on these lands in friendship and recognize Indigenous peoples who have cared for them for generations. As Engineering Outreach works with youth, educators, and communities, we are committed to continued learning, building meaningful relationships, and creating spaces where Indigenous knowledge, perspectives, and ways of knowing are respected and valued. Now I'm going to actually, after our land acknowledgement, go quickly into a safety moment, and it's really about online safety. So, and kind of connected to our webinar today. So when you're online and when you're connecting with us today, we hope that you do not share any personal information with us. So if you do want to connect with us through email, you can email Engineering Outreach at ontariotechuniversity.ca. But please don't be sending your cell phone number to me through the YouTube chat or the Menti today. And the last thing, we want to make these webinars interesting. So I have a question that I'm going to ask. And the question today is, why is the ocean blue, but the water in this cup is clear? And hopefully you can see this cup. So the question, why is the ocean blue, but the water in this cup is clear? I'm going to leave that with you to think about. And each webinar will have one of these fun questions we start off with. And maybe at the end, you will get the answer. But I'm not going to for sure say you're going to give you the answer. So just maybe, because maybe we don't have the answer. But I'll let you think about that for the next 30 minutes. And now we're going to move into what we're going to be talking about today. So when I look at inside our programs, people, and possibilities, we're really going to be answering who we are, what we do, the impact we have, and how we can support what you may, how we can support either through what you're doing within the classroom, what you're doing in community, or maybe with your youth at home. So there's many different ways that we can support, and that's kind of one aspect of today's webinar. So, Mentimeter. I'm going to actually ask, before we actually get into who we are and some of our impact, I want to actually ask, who do we have on with us today? So there's two ways you can access Mentimeter today. And there's a QR code on the screen, or you can go to mentimeter.com and you can enter in the code below. Again, two ways to enter in. And then once you actually go into Mentimeter, I'm going to be able to ask you a couple questions. We're going to use this throughout the webinar today. And it's going to allow me to engage with the audience, which is like super exciting if you ask me. So I'm just going to keep this up for a couple minutes just to make sure that everyone can get into mentimeter.com through the code or through the QR code. And then I'm going to actually get into Menti myself so that I can take a look and see how we are doing. And as you're going through today, you're going to see the YouTube chat. And there's going to be lots of information in that chat that's going to help us. So feel free to connect with that chat if you have a question. We also have questions at the end of the session. So there's two different ways to connect with us. But if you do have something that you need help with, you can use that chat. Okay, so who is joining us today? Okay, so we have community member, we have parent, we have student. Fantastic. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes, make sure no one's lagging behind. Okay, and I'm going to move on to the next question. And that is, what are you most interested in learning about during our webinar series? Upcoming programs, educator programs, awesome. I'll give it one more minute. And this is great because this is going to allow us to actually ensure that we have topics connected to these requests. Okay. And I'm going to actually go back into my slideshow now. Give me 1 second. Excellent. And now I'm going to quickly talk about our Engineering Outreach programs. And the first thing I want to highlight is that we have programs for high school and elementary youth, as well as specific programs for girls, Indigenous youth, and Black youth. So these are different programs that we run connected to STEM education for youth in grades 1 through 12. And then, you may be asking, what else do you guys offer? Well, we offer volunteer opportunities, employment opportunities, and also programs for educators. And when you look at our programming, I already talked about the STEM aspects of science, technology, engineering, and math. You can also think about two other things that are really, really important and that you'll see in every one of our programs, which is hands-on. So a hands-on component where students are really building or coding something, as well as the engineering design process. So a process that we use in every program to usually solve a problem that allows youth to think through that problem in a more effective way. And then moving into some of the impact. So I quickly threw some numbers onto this screen here to take a look at our impact. And as you can see, since 2014, we've seen over 200,000 youth, 7,000 educators. Our engagement right now per year is 40,000 youth per year, which is phenomenal and shows how much work we're doing. And then you can see a couple other numbers that show our impact. Now, one thing that's really, really important is when we talk about impact within community, it looks very different depending on who you are. And that's what I'm going to kind of talk about next is, let's say you're a community member and you run programs for youth, but you're looking to get STEM education into your programs. you can connect with us. And because of how flexible we are with our programming, we can ensure we have a way to bring you STEM education into your already existing program. And you might say, well, this is a big, large event with hundreds and hundreds of people. We can find a way to connect into that event. We have students that work with us throughout the year, and we are able to support large events. So that's 2 reasons maybe why you might be looking to connect with us today. A third reason is, well, what else does your program have to offer? Why would I be interested in engineering outreach? Our instructors. We have undergraduate engineering instructors that create and develop our content. And what this allows is it allows us to have instructors that are passionate about the programming that they're presenting, as well as they've gone through the path of engineering and they're still in that path. So they're able to share with youth what that path might look like and how to go through that path. And then finally, experience. As you can see, we've been doing these programs since 2014. So we do have lots of experience within the classroom as well as within community. And we are happy, I say happy, to connect with, community members, partners, parents, and ensure that we are running programming that is helpful for our youth and supports STEM education learning throughout the year. So these are a couple different ways that we, I guess, have a program that really helps our community and supports kind of STEM education. So without further ado, I'm actually going to now be passing over the speaking to our coordinators. So before I actually pass it over to Paula, I'd like to just highlight one thing here. When you're trying to reach engineering outreach, there is 2 ways that you can go about this. The first is you can email engineeringoutreach@ontariotechu.ca. The second way, which is an example I've listed below, is you can do our first name dot our last name at ontariotechu.ca, and you can reach a specific coordinator through that email. So if you have a specific question, you might want to connect with one coordinator. If you have multiple questions, you may want to just connect with the engineering outreach email that's provided below. So there's 2 ways to connect with us, and I just wanted to highlight that. And then without further ado, I'm actually going to pass it over to Paula.
Hi and good evening, everyone. My name is Paula, as Ellen introduced. And I am here to talk about the girls team and the Black youth team. So starting off with the girls team, as you guys can see, there are some hashtags on the screen. And I think we are living in an exciting era where these hashtags are actually trending. Just as the Like a Girl campaign launched girls in sports a couple of years ago, our engineering outreach team is fully invested in redefining what STEM looks like for girls today. So through our programs, girls don't have to fit into a single box, whether they're athletic, artistic, fashionable, all of the above, or none of the above. We're here to create spaces where they can bring their true selves and their whole selves to discover what that looks like. Awesome. So for me, I grew up playing sports. I love performing in musical theater. I loved history. I loved all the things. And it was often really hard for me to find a place where all of those intersected. It felt like they all had to remain separate. So here we love just bringing an intersection of those things. An example of that would be our picture over here where we had the girls in our camp recently making video game controllers. So you're combining your gamer girls, you're getting all of the different types of artistic qualities into this as well, which is a really fun experience for us to see. And they all love bringing their own individual versions to it. So what are some different ways we explore these things? So in the next slide, we have our virtual and in-person clubs, our workshops. And as you guys can see here, we have elementary and high school workshops, as much of our other programs do as well. We also have our conferences, and this is really important because we have some coming up soon. We have our Go Eng Girl, which is for grades 7 to 8, and our Future Eng this fall. And if you stay tuned for winter, we have our Inspire Eng and our Go Code Girls as well. And you can also catch us in the community as well, where we partner up with Girls Inc., Girl Guides, and sometimes we also have workshops with the DCDSB, which is where you would see our Inspire and Conference. So jumping into our Black Youth Program, I also have the privilege of heading the Black Youth team here. And honestly, growing up in a Nigerian household, I had a teacher for a mother and an engineer for a father. So education was always like a cornerstone of my life. But honestly, I didn't really have an excitement for STEM. I liked school, but I didn't have an excitement for STEM until my first year in my physics course, where I was like studying for an electromagnetics quiz while also trying to get through all of Iron Man. That's where I really saw how STEM could intersect with we'll say real world applications as well. So honestly, when I was watching Black Panther, I saw how deeply technology was woven into like Shuri's story, for example. And I can still remember the day where like the pride in the cinema where we all felt like, whoa, this is us. This is what it feels like to be Black and in STEM and all of those things, which is what I'm really trying to bring into our Black youth programs here. You can see on the screen here, we have T'Challa's suit, but we also have a screen recording of a 3D model that I designed based on his suit with the triangles. And it's just like an intersection of my interest. This was a passion project. If you guys can't tell by now, I really love Marvel. And so this is just an intersection of like Black culture with 3D printing and 3D modeling, so which I thought was cool. Some other programs that we have here for our Black youth is we have similar workshops to the girls team. We have elementary workshops, we have high school workshops, we have clubs, and we also have full day programs as well. Something to keep your eye out for is our Black Legacy Conference coming to you later this fall. And our theme for this year is Beyond the Blueprint. During this conference, we will be addressing root causes of underrepresentation in STEM and equip students with the actionable strategies to thrive in engineering, for example. So this could look like not being able to do math really well, not having the finances to go into engineering, or just not having the self-confidence for these as well. And you can also see us at our community programs where we work with the school boards. We have our monthly Black Boys Code workshops, and we also have some programs at Apex Library with our Black Youth Empowerment and Girls Empowerment as well. So if you guys would love to join us, we'd love to have you over. I will now be passing it over to Hunter.
Thanks, Paula. Good evening, everyone. Like Paula said, my name is Hunter Johnson. For context, I'm Red River Métis. I'm the Indigenous Youth Program Coordinator here at Ontario Tech Engineering Outreach. And I have the privilege of handling our Indigenous Youth programs. So I think what's really unique about our programs is the approach we take to our programs, specifically when it comes to understanding how the land has always been a classroom, right? So if you look at Indigenous peoples across Turtle Island and even across the world, knowledge has continuously been passed down through generations. And this includes understanding how to harvest certain plants, how to hunt certain animals, how to build certain infrastructure within communities, such as maybe perhaps teepees or sweat lodges, and really just understanding how to work with the natural world that's around you, right? And all of these practices, what makes it so unique is that there's STEM woven through every single one of them, whether it's ranging from biology, whether it's to chemistry, mathematics, engineering, environmental sciences. There's so many different ways that STEM is in traditional knowledge. And we honestly say that, again, traditional knowledge has always been a thing. It's always existed. And it's really Western knowledge systems that are catching up. So really our approach in engineering outreach when it comes to in STEM is really, again, to create those meaningful learning opportunities that inspire Indigenous youth to see themselves in STEM while also building skills, confidence, and a strong connection to their community. And a big part in how we do this is through the Circle of Courage model. So it really focuses on 4 things that every young person, every person really needs to grow. So we look at belonging. How do we make students, and specifically our Indigenous students, feel like they belong in either circle or any of our workshops? Mastery. So what are we providing? What learning opportunities that are combined with traditional knowledge as well as, let's say, the engineering design process? How are we really ensuring that students are actually mastering what they're learning and the skills that they're actually developing through our programs? Independence, right? How are we encouraging our youth to think critically when it comes to solving real world issues? And how are we teaching them how to become independent, when also working with others. And generosity, right? So how are we creating the programs to make sure that they're meaningful, to ensure that youth aren't looking at STEM to be very extractive, but very much in a way where, okay, what can I take? What do I only need to take? And how am I kind of, returning the favor and giving back to my community, right? So really these ideas really are at the heart of our programming and help us create safe spaces where youth can really feel connected, learn new things, and again, build confidence while also sharing their knowledge with others. Now, combining a really cool concept with the Circle of Courage model is two-eyed seeing. So two-eyed seeing, also known as Adawakamunk, is a Mi'kmaq word that is used to encourage us to look at the world using both worldviews. So Indigenous worldviews and Western ways of knowing, and really giving value to both of them. And you can really see this throughout our programming, right? So we might have a community member come in and lead a hide tanning workshop, or we talk about the chemistry behind how the hide tanning is actually the chemicals that are working behind it and how it's actually stripping away at certain fat membrane levels. Or we even might do a workshop highlighting how natural pigments are used, and how specifically the Blackfoot and Plains Cree nations have used these natural pigments to paint their teepee campuses, right? It's really, really interesting to see how this interplays with one another, and specifically how, again, STEM ties into traditional knowledge, while also tying in creative arts to it. And really, again, for us, the important message is really that STEM is not too new to Indigenous communities across the world. It's always been a thing, right? And Indigenous people have continuously been observing, experimenting, innovating, engineering, and developing different technologies for generations. And again, really our goal is to help youth recognize that the knowledge that they see within STEM, it's a lot of it comes from understanding traditional knowledge that has been passed down from generations. And then if we hop over to the next slide. Very briefly, we have a variety of different programs that we run throughout the year. So we have different elementary programs, specifically week-long clubs, summer camps, in collaboration with some school boards like DDSB. A lot of our community initiatives focus on hitting the powwow trail. We're actually going to Rama Powwow this weekend. So if you're out there, you can come say hi to us, come say hi to our booth. We play a big role at Little Natives Hockey Tournament, as well as participating in other community workshops if we request. And then for our high school programs, we do a lot of specifically land-based learning opportunities, as well as hosting a traditional knowledge and STEM conference in the winter. So I look forward to hopefully seeing some of you at our future programs. And yeah, thank you. And I'll pass it on to the next speaker.
Thank you, Hunter. So my name is Zara. I'm the high school program coordinator at Outreach, and I did my undergrad in mechatronics engineering. So when I chose that major, if you ask me why did you choose it, or what is mechatronics engineering, what do they do, what do they work on, I would say I'm not sure. So we like to focus our programs on career-oriented. To be career-oriented, we want to show them what engineering is, what the different disciplines are, and we want to help them choose what they want to do for their careers and decipher their futures. So one of our annual programs that we've successfully ran is Inside Engineering. In the fall, we run a series of workshops where each workshop focuses on a different type of engineering, and we invite a guest speaker from industry who tells them about their day-to-day life, what kind of tasks they work on, so the students feel connected and understand more what the different types of engineering are. In the winter, we have Inside Engineering 2.0, where students form teams and they work on capstone projects, basically. So one of the projects they work on is, and I'm gonna show it to you here. So for example, this is something that a group of high school students was working on during this program. So it's basically an automatic gate system. They designed using a CAD software. And it's basically like it has displays. It uses ultrasonic sensors when the car is moving, and when the car passes by, basically the gate closes. So it was a very interesting project from high school students where they presented it at at the showcase. Our other programs include Mobile Design Lab. So we have a program called Mobile Design Lab where we go to schools, teachers book us for their high school classes, and we have a variety of workshops including electricity focused, AI, 3D design, and lots of other topics. We also have our robotics competition, which is an annual event. We have over 450 students who participate in a SumoBot style competition. We also have summer camps. So our summer camps we have a variety of topics as well, including coding, design with Python, robotics. And we also do throughout the year different workshops as part of the workshop series, including topics same as AI, cybersecurity, and lots of all of the trending topics. And there's a QR code on the top. You could scan it if you're interested in our high school programs. And I will pass it off to Alex.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for the warm introduction. As Zara said, my name is Alex, and I am our leader for elementary and teacher programs. And I'll start off by talking about our elementary programs. Our programs for elementary age students are all about getting them the opportunity to try out STEM topics with their hands on it. Our whole goal is to get them confident with STEM topics and trying to get them to see themselves in a potential career in STEM before they even have to think about making that decision when they get to the high school level. And just to show you a little bit about what we do in our STEM programs, I've got a robot with me, my Dash robots. And you can see a lot of examples of how that robot is used. But usually how our programs will start is we'll have our kids working with the robots, and they'll try running a program, and it won't do exactly what they want it to do. They'll make mistakes, and that's okay. Engineering Outreach is always meant to be a safe place for kids to make mistakes and learn things. But over time, as they continue to practice with the robots and the tools that we use, they will eventually be able to successfully complete our tasks that we give them. Like this one, where our robot goes up close, turns around, and then drives away. But even more so, our goal is to build confidence. So we always encourage kids to try and do even more exciting things with their tasks, trying to have fun with it and really express their creativity with the skills that they have, like this robot that did a little spin before zipping away backwards. And that's just a small taste of what we do in the elementary programs. So many times we do building activities, coding with robotics, coding with devices. We bring in robots to show them. There's so many amazing things that we do across our camps, our clubs, our workshops. And hearing the confidence that comes out of kids at the end of them is why we do this. Hearing them get excited about the work that they did and not just blow our expectations away, but to blow their own expectations away. If you're interested in learning a bit more about our elementary programs, you can scan that QR code on the screen, and we've got some really exciting ones coming up very soon. But that's not all I'm responsible for either. I also lead our programs for educators. And the whole premise of this is we want to equip educators with the skills to do what we do every day with Engineering Outreach and bring it into the classrooms so that kids get this experience directly through the school system. And so we do all sorts of workshops with educators, either booked directly by school boards or booking directly with schools themselves and even larger events. There's so many ways that we get involved. An example of what we might do with teachers is we might use microbits. I have an example of a microbit right here. This is a super common tech tool that you'll find across almost any school in Ontario, and we'll build you up from the basics, like this little animation that I've got here of a little dancing dude, which is tons of fun, but also a great way to get familiar with microbits. Eventually, we'll start to build STEM tools that students can use as they're starting to design things. For example, this one right here, which if there is not enough light, it shows an X, but as we get more light, and I'm just struggling to get it with the camera here, it shows a heart. But eventually we'll even build you into tools that you can use in the classroom, like this temperature measurement sensor. And if I take my other one out of the ice box I've got right next to me, I can warm that up with my finger, and you can see that measurement changing on this one. So I'm warming up this one, and we can see that bar graph warming up over here. So we're all about trying to help teachers use the tools that are already in their schools, and we partner with so many organizations to make that possible. If we shuffle over to our next slide, then you will see a QR code that you can scan to find more information about our teacher programs. Oh, yeah, one more. There we go. One more. That's how you can find information about our teacher programs, and that also includes our mobile design lab and community events, as Zara mentioned earlier. And I'll pass it back to Ellen for our final element of this presentation.
Thank you, coordinators. That was phenomenal. And I hope that everyone joining us today learned something new, because I even learned something new from those discussions and conversations. Okay, moving on, because we are getting close to our final couple minutes here. I am going to share a couple scenarios, and we're going to test our knowledge. So a grade 5 teacher wants a hands-on engineering activity, but has limited classroom materials. And you might be asking me, Ellen, where are you? So I'm in the Mentimeter account again. Okay, so if you go back to Mentimeter, you can see the different scenarios, and we're just testing again the knowledge of, do you know what program this will be under? So with a grade 5 teacher, I'm looking at Alex's elementary programs. And again, if we had questions about this, we could email Alex. Also, it's a teacher. Maybe it's under teacher programs. So I think that we have some people saying Zara's programs, which is a high school. I think this would be more connected to elementary/teacher. So I would say Alex, but very good tries with the Zara programs. In the same ballpark, just have to move it over a little bit. Okay, next one, scenario 2, a high school wants students to explore AI and engineering careers. Who could this fall under? And I love that we have 2 different coordinators selected. We have high school programs under Zara, but we also have girls programs. And I think that both are correct, because high schools could be girls only, but they also could just be high school programs from a high school within DDSB. So excellent. This works for both coordinators, and it just depends again on where you're coming from and what you're looking for. Scenario 3, a grade 7 student from Calgary wants to join a program. Fantastic. And I think, again, this is correct. We have elementary programs under Alex, which this grade 7 student definitely fits within our elementary programs. And we have girls programs, or it could be our Black youth programs, even though it isn't selected. It could have been that as well, because maybe they're joining this program specifically. But what's really key here is that someone from Calgary can join our programs, because we run virtual programming, which is so exciting. And finally, a community organization wants a culturally responsive STEM program and to partner. Who would they connect with? This one's tricky because it could be anyone. It depends on the community organization and who or what they want to do within their organization. And then that would be, for example, who you would reach out to. So very, very tricky, but you guys did a fantastic job on the Menti. And I am going to keep moving because we are close to the end of time. So give me 1 second here. Just pulling up my presentation again. So I just quickly want to talk about how to get involved. So we went over this quickly, but not in this much detail. But if you are an industry partner or community organization, you can just send us an email, figure out how you want our engineering outreach program from Ontario Tech University to come into your space, and we can start those connections and conversations. If you're a parent, there's many programs, and I'm going to show you in 1 second our website and actually how to sign up for programs. There's many programs that your youth can sign up for. If you're a high school student, you can attend programs, but you also could volunteer or apply to work within engineering outreach. And then if you're an educator, you can either have us come into your classroom, or you could do PD, professional development, with our team. So there's numerous ways that we can actually get connected to you and how you can get involved within our programming. And I'm just going to quickly show our website. I'm going to show two things here. I'm not going to show everything. So if I was to take a look at our website and I was to, for example, go into, I'm actually going to go back one page because this is where you start off when you get to our website usually. Go into elementary programs. So I click the orange tab down here. And then let's say I go into girls programs. What I can see is different programs we run connected to girls. And if I was to click conferences, you're going to see, for example, Go Code Girl, registration closed. When was it last ran? In March. What time was it run at? Why we have this information here is very valuable to you. What this is doing is it's holding a place to show you when this program runs and when you can kind of expect it to run again this year. So programs that are on our website that say annually, they run annually and they will be coming back very close to this timeline. So that's just kind of getting you ready for when it will actually run so you can prepare. Now, I'm going to show you one other thing. So that's one thing to note. If you're like, well, I want to know about programs right now, Ellen. Okay, don't you worry. If you actually just go to our main page, and I clicked Andrean Outreach just to get back to the main page, and you scroll down, you'll see current open programs. And here's how you actually access a program that is available to go into right now. So you can click it and then you can sign up for it, okay? So I'm just wanted to show you two things from our website. And finally, I'm just going back, to our slide deck here. I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. If you want to join our mailing list, we have a QR code here where you can join our mailing list. And I wanted to highlight some topics that are coming up. So topics that are coming up: the Mobile Design Lab for from an elementary lens, our high school programs that leave an impact, Engineering Needs Better PR, Beyond the Hard Hats, and Two-Eyed Seeing in STEM. So these are some of the topics that will be coming up in the next couple months. You will get an email. Again, if you join our mailing list, it makes it even easier to get our emails and to know when these programs are coming. And then if you have any questions today, please email us at andreanoutreach@ontariotechu.ca. And I'm going to leave you with one last thing. So there was a question at the start of this webinar about this cup of water. So the answer, I am going to give the answer today. So a small cup of water looks clear because light passes straight through it without much being absorbed. The ocean is very deep, and it's also very deep, very, very deep, and there's millions of water layers, and these water layers absorb red, yellow light. And then what happens is the blue light bounces back to our eyes. So that's why the ocean looks blue. And this is clear. So with that, I'm going to just go back to Menti quickly. And if anyone has any questions, you can ask them in the Menti. I'm going to be watching the Mentimeter just for a couple minutes here, and we'll answer those. But if you do not have any questions for us and you've enjoyed this session and you need to go on to your next task for the day, we thank you and we will see you again.